Hey, welcome in. It's the Illini Nation pregame show. She's Courtney, Layne, Brewer. I'm Glenn Kinley. We're going to unpack a lot here. Apologize for the late start. We're supposed to go 90 minutes before kickoff. I'm sure you've all been waiting.
Refreshing.
Yes, so we were supposed to start at 5 p.m. Pretty good excuse. I was talking to Darren Williams and D. Brown up there. And Bruce
I'll
Weber,
allow it.
The 0405 Illini basketball team back in town. They arrived on engine 77 of Robert Rosenthal's. An epic entrance. We're going to have more from them, I hope, if I can get it in our show on time on WCIA News at 6. I'll try to get you some of those interviews because it was really interesting stuff, especially talking to D. Brown was really valuable. But, of course,
I haven't seen it either, so I look forward to hearing it.
Some good stuff. Of course, though, there is also a football game to play.
We are standing here at Memorial Stadium as number 12 Illinois is set to take on Western Illinois, kicking off one of the highest anticipated seasons in recent history as Illinois looks to go at least compete with that last season.
Absolutely. So you're talking about a 10-win team from a year ago that returns 18 starters from the bowl game, number 12 ranked preseason in the country. The Leathernecks of Western Illinois are in the house tonight. It's a 6:30 kickoff. It's airing on Peacock. Like I said, at WCI News at 6, we'll have a bunch more pregame coverage, and then at 10, of course, we'll have postgame coverage. We'll have highlights. Hopefully the game is over by then. Knock on somebody out there listening, knock on wood for us. We'll have highlights. We'll have a post-game report live from Courtney. I'll be back in studio. We are covering a ton of high school football tonight, too.
Friday.
Clarify.
Friday, of course, synonymous with high school football.
So we're going to be at probably a dozen plus high school games, not us specifically, but people on our staff will be. So we'll bring you a ton of that, too. If you're a Unity Rocket fan or a Centennial Charger and you're like, hold on, Friday nights. It's Fridays for high school. Don't ignore us. We got you covered. So you're going to want to join us for those newscasts. If you're new here and you're not familiar, you don't have to have cable to watch our newscast.
Correct.
Download that WCIA 3 Plus app on your Fire Stick, Roku, or Apple TV. You can watch all of our stuff on there. So the newscasts are available to you, even if you're watching this from Chicago or from St. Louis or from Alaska. I know we get usually lots of viewers from Alaska on the pregame show.
Yeah, well, I know there's a good hub of if they look at our metrics, there's a little hub in Kentucky that is watching all of our shows.
Yes, certainly. So our parents will be watching the newscast at 10. We hope that you'll join us for that as well. Let's talk a little bit about this game. We got year 3 for Luke Altmyer after what was a massive step in the right direction for the Illini quarterback last year.
Yeah, and I mean, it felt like we were publishing a Luke Altmyer is on this watch list every single day this summer. His national recognition has been, in my experience, unparalleled. Anything that this university has seen. He is getting hyped left and right, and deservedly so. He could have taken his talents elsewhere, but he decided to stay here and stick with the Illini because he knew he had unfinished business. What we've seen from him this offseason has been just a new sense of focus, a new sense, I was going to say a new sense of confidence. And something I'm really continuously inspired by is the way he leads not just the other quarterbacks, not just his receivers, everyone in the room.
Yeah, he cares about this place, and he said it before. He cares about this place and its success beyond his tenure here. The other thing with Luke is he said throughout fall camp or early in fall camp, he thinks he could take a bigger jump this year than he did last year, which I don't know if that's possible.
I don't either. I was just about to say, I don't know how
he's going to be one of, if not the best quarterback in the Big Ten if he makes that jump that he's talking about, which would be unbelievable. It all starts tonight, 6:30 kick. If you're just joining us, in fact, Luke Altmyer is on the field behind us. Courtney, step to the side real quick. Let's see if we can get Luke back there. There he is.
With the mullet.
He's back there somewhere. Luke Altmyer's getting warmed up on the field behind us. We got an hour and 15 minutes for kick. We're going to be with you for 15 more minutes here. We did get a slightly late start, so we're going to have a full 30-minute pregame show. Courtney, another big position that we have been talking about over and over and over again throughout the whole fall camp is the guys Luke's going to throw the football to. The wide receiver room. You lose a Pat Bryant, pretty good football player. You lose a Zachary Franklin, pretty good football player. And you got to replace that production. What does that look like? So we have heard throughout fall camp a lot of praise for two guys specifically. That would be Colin Dixon and Hank Beatty.
Yes.
It seems like when we asked about the wide receiver room, specifically throughout fall camp, maybe in the summer and the spring, they would give us more of a generic answer.
Yeah, it was a little broader.
But more recently, Brett Bielema didn't shy away from Colin Dixon and Hank Beatty being the first names out of his mouth immediately. Malik Elzy has also gotten some of that praise. But Luke Altmyer said he thinks this might be the most depth they've had in that room since he's been here.
The thing that stands out to me about the wide receiver room is you have an arsenal. And what I mean when I say that is you have different guys who are all talented, but are all talented in different ways. You have guys who can fill certain spots depending on the defense, depending on where Luke is at, depending on where you're physically playing. They have a Swiss Army knife in their room of guys who can do anything.
Yeah, you're talking. We mentioned Malik Elsley. We mentioned Colin Dixon, Hank Beatty, Alex Kapka-Jones, Justin Bowick.
Justin Bowick is a name I've latched onto this offseason, getting to know him, knowing what he did at Ball State. He's been really impressive, but it goes back to Colin Dixon and Hank Beatty.
And Hudson Clement has gotten praise recently from Coach Stepp. It sounds like really in fall camp, he took a jump from even when he got here in the spring. He's the West Virginia transfer. If you're not familiar, he led the Mountaineers in receiving yards last year. That's a guy who has played a lot of football and been a go-to target for a quarterback. Now, I will warn people tonight, we are week 1. We are we're not playing against Western Illinois. The Illini are.
We are?
Not yet.
I'm not ready.
But people are going to look at this game and say, this guy got this many carries. Why didn't they give him the ball more? Why didn't they throw to him the ball more? Well, I think we're going to see a lot of guys play tonight. If we don't, that's probably an issue. I think you'll see a lot of wide receivers play. I think you'll see at least those 3 running backs play, obviously, if whoever it may be, right? If Malik Elsley has the most receptions today, I don't think that necessarily means he's wide receiver 1. He's the go-to guy all year. Maybe it doesn't mean he's not.
Well, and
but it doesn't mean he is.
In fact, I'm almost positive they have told us, almost every position coach, almost every coordinator, that this game and the Western Michigan game in 2 weeks are to see who can play.
Right.
When you have so much depth and so much diversity in your depth, you want to see how they go under the lights. The good thing is, even though you do have new guys, they've played college football for the most part.
Yeah.
But you want to see how they do in a Big Ten setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Illinois will not play many freshmen this year. In fact, Sinai Scott, the defensive back, younger brother of Xavier Scott, might be Illinois' only true freshman to play, at least play more than the 4-game redshirt limit this season. That's not, I don't think, in fact, I know that's not because they don't think their freshmen are any good. They just have so much returning experience and veteran players that those guys might not play a ton of snaps anyway. You don't want to burn a red shirt to have a guy play 8 snaps on the season.
I'm drawn to another guy, Carson Boyd. That's a guy that we will see possibly from time to time, but that's not somebody you're going to try to waste that on.
Yes.
He is a guy who is positive, is motivated, is excited to be here, and will willingly take 1 snap in 1 game.
Yeah, talking about the quarterback room, Ethan Hampton is presumably the unofficial backup quarterback. I don't know if they ever actually named him that, but we've connected the dots enough. And I think they've been impressed with him throughout fall camp. Again, if this goes well, you don't want to get ahead of yourself. If this game goes as expected for Illinois, who is a 48.5-point favorite, I think almost a 7-touchdown favorite, you will see some Ethan Hampton in this game. And I think that will be valuable for him to get some reps in this offense. I think you'll see, regardless of how the game goes, you'll see more than those 5 offensive linemen. But for some of those other guys to get a bulk of snaps in that second half and that fourth quarter, and to rest of J.C. Davis, who was banged up throughout fall camp, I think that will be valuable, especially for that spot like the O-line where you have 5 guys back, and that's great. But that means they're all back again, and there's some guys behind them who haven't played as much football.
Right, exactly. So I think you do have that benefit of having those 5 guys back. And they're not just 5 guys who played last year. They're 5 guys who dominated last year. And getting them out here to comfortably set the tone opens the door for those guys to get
Absolutely. Let's talk about the defense a little bit. And if you're going to talk about the defense, you probably should talk about Gabe Ackus.
Yes. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't seen him yet because he's like a mountain of a human. He walked through the Illini walk and he was bumping into people.
Right. Gabe fits the part.
He does.
He looks like a superstar. And quite frankly, if you ask people in this locker room, he is one.
Yeah.
They believe he has that ability. It's a guy who probably would have gotten drafted had he. I'm not a draft expert. I don't work for any NFL teams. But had he gone to the draft, he probably would have gotten selected. A ton of talent, and he's the start of that. But the defensive back room has some guys in there too. Miles Scott, Xavier Scott, Matthew Bailey. Those are some good football players.
I'm not sure if you saw where you were up there. Jaheim Clark is out today.
Okay. What else? I haven't seen. I was talking to the 0405 basketball team.
You have a good excuse.
What did we get on the availability
Nothing
report?
Jumped out at me except for that.
Okay.
A lot of it was stuff we knew.
This is live broadcast.
Live television.
We'll pull it up here.
Here we go.
Jaheim Clark is out.
Aiden Knappich is out.
Okay.
But Jaheim Clark, Ben Clausen, and Aiden Knappich just out for this game. The other 4, Taiwan Cox, Sean Forster, and Curtis and Grant Smith, we knew that they were out for the season. So Jaheim Clark was the only one that surprised me.
Okay, yeah, we will try to get more info from Brett Bielema from that post game.
Because he was somebody I was excited to see in the DB round.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jaheim Clark was a guy who some defenses kind of went after at times last year, but and that was difficult for him, but I think he learned a lot from it. So we'll get an update from Brett Bielema on that when we can get it.
But healthy guys in the DB room, man.
Yeah, you got some studs back there. I mean, Xavier Scott is a ball player. I mentioned Matthew Bailey, Miles Scott. Like that's a pretty good room. Torrey Cox he can make plays.
Well, as I've said 100 times on various platforms, when you're led by Corey Parker, you can do anything.
He's electric. Yeah.
He's insane. I just saw him actually warming up.
In the cleat? Yeah,
he
always has the cleats
he was
on.
ready.
He might replace James.
Corey, do you have eligibility?
We're with you here for about 7 or 8 more minutes on the Your Illini Nation pregame show. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you watching. She's Courtney. I'm Glenn, and we're here until 5:30 on the pregame show. Kickoff is at 6:30. It's Illinois versus Western Illinois. The Illini preseason ranked number 12 in the country. Courtney,
I'm happy with the number of fans that are in here coming up on an hour to kick off. That makes me happy, especially when you think about how far this fan base has come. But, I mean, we've already got 3, soon to be 4 sellouts on the books, or is it 2, soon to be 3?
Yes.
I mean, when you have this energy, you're bound to at least have some success as a result.
Western Michigan is sold out, and Ohio State is sold out.
And USC, there's 4 tickets left.
Yes, the USC game is getting awfully close from what we know. This is not an announced sellout, but I expect it to be a pretty full crowd.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It's a Friday night, beautiful weather. I'd imagine that tickets weren't impossible to come by. So I would imagine that we see this pretty packed.
I get the impression the people who are not here is because them or their son or their daughter or their brother is playing a high school football game.
Yes.
And that's a valid reason.
And we get it. That will play a part, which again, we will have all of our high school coverage as usual tonight on Friday Football
We'll
Fever.
have a ton of it tonight at 10 on WCIA. You can watch it however you usually watch the news. If you're not familiar, I mentioned it earlier in the show, but for those joining in late, you can also watch that on our new WCIA 3 Plus app on your Apple TV, Fire Stick, or Roku. Watch our 10 p.m. news for tons of pro-team coverage. We'll get a ton of stuff up online, social media, Facebook, Twitter, on our website, WCIA.com. So there's ton to unpack. Courtney, I don't think he's out here right now, but I wanted to talk a little bit about David Olano.
Friend of Channel 3, David Olano.
David Olano, who famously tried to teach us how to kick, and I don't know if he was a bad teacher or if we were unsavable. I would lean towards
Jury's out. Yeah. You know, every time I am told that David Olano has made a kick in practice, it is 2 yards further than his last kick.
Yeah.
He has just come so far, and the bar was set high last season. So for him to come in here and get these big numbers, for him to come in here and get these reps is really exciting. And I've heard a lot of excitement about him from the staff.
Well, yeah, the thing. Bielema said he's hitting from 60, he's hitting from 65. And it's interesting because really last year, David Olano was just the kickoff guy as a freshman. Last year, he handled field goal duties, but if you remember, on multiple occasions, he was not the distance guy. He was kind of your accuracy guy. He's going to hit every PAT. I think he hit 38 of 39 PATs or something like that. And then I think he only missed 2 or 3 field goals. He was your accuracy guy, but it was Ethan Machowski who ended up hitting the portal. He was the big leg guy. And so when it was 55, 60 yards, they would put Ethan Machowski out there.
Correct.
If you can combine the leg that they've been talking about of 60, 65 yards, whatever it's been in practice, and keep the accuracy that he's had, he has the chance to be in it. I mean, that's a game changer. If you can get to the, let's call it the 45-yard line.
Especially in Big Ten football.
Maybe the 40 would be a 57-yard field goal, and you can kick from there. That's a game changer.
In Big Ten football, that can be a bit of a lower scoring affair historically. That's where you can really seal the deal.
Yeah.
You can get by without a fabulous kicker, but it sure helps. And it sure helps Illinois this
Probably
season.
changes the game more than some people realize.
Exactly.
Sure. We're talking about an Illini team that returns so much. And Courtney, there are also a handful of new players. We talked about the wide receivers, the transfers in there. There's 3 Wisconsin transfers on defense. I think Kurt Neal and James Thompson are going to be a huge part, literally and figuratively, of this defensive line.
And they seem fired up. There's a lot to be said about the energy of the guy before he's even taken the field for a team. And James Thompson on Media Day was one of the best conversations I had off the mic. These guys are really excited to be here.
James Thompson and Tomiwa Durojaye of Florida State, both like great interviews, just guys you like could hang out with. Like, ton of fun to talk to. Excited to see those guys on the field tonight. Also excited to see a guy who also has not played in an Illinois uniform, but it is not his first year here. Talking about Cole Rusk in the tight end.
I didn't know who you were talking about at first. I think Cole Rusk is going to hit the turf on fire the second he takes the field. His injury happened so close to kickoff last season. It was devastating for all involved. I think he's going to be electric when he gets out there because he has been saving this up for literally a year. And what they've said that they've seen in practice so far, he's more than ready to finally take his turn. If we're going to talk injuries, I can't wait to see Dylan Rosiak back out there.
Yes, Dylan Rosiak is back out there. Caden Fagan will be back out there. He had a season-ending injury a year ago. Lots of guys we're excited to see return from injury. And like we mentioned, a handful of new faces that we're excited to see what those roles look like. I mentioned this earlier regarding the stats. Okay, this guy had the most receptions, so he's the wide receiver 1, and now we expect him to break Pat Bryant's record or whatever. I will say the same thing as far as who was on the field for that first play. If Caden Fagan is out there for the first play, it doesn't mean Illinois isn't going to use Aiden Lawfrey. And if Malik Elzy is not out there for the first play, it doesn't mean that he's not going to get the ball thrown his way, especially on defense. You're talking about some formation packages, different schemes, present different looks. So this is not a team where they're going to say, here's our 11 starters on offense, here's our 11 starters on defense. You're getting a much different look. We could also see some 12 personnel for the Illini today with 2 tight end sets.
I agree.
Tanner Arkin was really big last year when Cole Rusk went down. We might see the two of those guys on the field together. So that's something we'll be interested in.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them both on the field together, but I really don't think we're going to have a concrete here is who is starting until week 5, week 6.
Yeah, and it all depends on like how this one plays out and how Duke plays out, how close is that game, and it'll be an interesting one. I think probably priority for Illinois in this one too is not showing much.
Yes.
As far as if we can run it up the middle and score every drive, we might do that because frankly, as much as the media and the fans would love to know who the go-to wide receivers are, they would love for the Blue Devils to not know.
Correct. Exactly that. And that game's still a whole week away, but it'll be exciting to see how they fare.
Yeah, I would not expect all the tricks up the sleeve of Barry Lunny to be exposed today. I think you might see some of that against Duke next week, but that's something they would love to go into an Indiana game. I believe it's Indiana in week 4 and say, hey, we haven't shown much. Indiana doesn't really know what to expect because Barry has kept the play calling pretty simple to this point. Now, what that looks like again next week when you get a power conference opponent, we'll see. I think against Western Illinois, the game plan will be play simple, play good football, and play mistake-free football being the top priority.
I agree.
All right, we are, how many? Oh,
we're done.
It's 5:30 now. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
We will sign off here in a moment. If you watch on Twitter, Facebook, X, YouTube, on our website, wherever you watch, we appreciate you tuning in. It's the Illini Nation pregame show. I mentioned it. We're going to have more at 6 p.m. right before kickoff, so you can watch at 6 p.m. I'll be live there twice, and then at 10 p.m., Courtney will be live back here. I'll be back in studio handling highlights from this game and highlights from a dozen-plus high school games, so tons of coverage on the way. We appreciate you watching. We'll have this pregame show for you. Hopefully every game this year, 90 minutes. We apologize for the slightly late start
This
today.
is also where you can catch Brett Bielema's post-game comments after the game. Right here, we'll have them live for you, whatever he has to say after the game.
Wherever you were watching this, find it again.
Join us back here
after the game when Brett Bielema comes to the mic. Thank you for watching with Courtney. I'm Glenn, and we will see you after the game.